another video. To all of my subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing, for commenting, for liking, for sharing my videos. I appreciate your support. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. Again, my name is Fearfully Made, and on this channel, we talk about Yah's laws, statutes, commandments. We do some Bible study, and I also share some words of encouragement in hopes that it may uplift someone. So if you are interested in joining my YouTube family, definitely hit the subscribe button and also hit the I almost said something else. I'm sorry. Also hit the notification bell if you would like notification of my future uploads. I almost said something else and the Holy Spirit was like, stop saying that. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so the Most High this morning, I know it was this morning and I'm late dropping it, but I got so distracted. Oh my gosh. Father, please forgive me. It's so many distractions, you guys, but I got to get these messages out, okay? The Most High led me to the book of Isaiah, chapter 44. Okay, so this is for someone who's worried about whether or not God is going to bless them, right? And this is for someone who's, either someone who God is giving mercy to, or because he does that, even if you've been wicked, even if you don't deserve it, he still might come through for you just to show you how good he is. Because that's just how God works, man. It be the people that just don't even deserve it. I'm probably one of those. Let me shut up. but and then there's some people that have been like walking with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That's been and those people are like sure for this blessing. Okay, but anyways, we're about to just kind of dissect Isaiah 44 because what the Most High is first, he's saying, don't worry, it's gonna happen. Don't fear. Don't be afraid. I got you. I'm going to take care of you. But when I do what I do for you, do not act like you don't know me. Do not, forget me like you're doing all of this by yourself, because you're not. And so let's go ahead and dissect Isaiah 44. And it reads, I don't know if I should read this right here like that. It says, yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I've chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Okay, he says, thus saith the Lord who made you and formed you in the womb. He said he made you and formed you in the womb, so he's going to help you. Okay, he's going to help you. He says, fear not, do not be afraid. It says, O Jacob, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, okay, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour out my spirit upon thy seed and my blessing upon thy offspring. So he says, I will pour water upon them that is thirsty. If you are without, he's going to give you. Okay, hi, Raphael. And it says, and floods upon the dry ground. So if you are in lack and you have nothing, oh, this is confirmation. This is confirmation. If you, like, I'm telling you, like, he's been saying this all week. Like, it's been people just like going heavy in the realm of the spirit. It says, and floods upon dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed and my blessing upon thy offspring, and they shall spring up among the grass as willows by the water courses. Okay, as willows by the water courses. If you by the water courses, you are sure to thrive because you're going to be fed all the time. Willows by the water courses do not dry out because they're by the water courses, right? And it says, and they shall spring up among the grass as willows by the water courses, which means they are never, ever going to go without, right? Well, imagine a willow being in a desert, far from a water course. That willow gonna dry up. You know what I'm saying? But this is by the willows by the water courses, which means the willows are gonna stay hydrated. Okay, the Most High is gonna surely take care of you. He's surely gonna make sure that you are straight. Verse 5, one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord a sure name for himself, by the name of Israel. So you know how like you hear some people that say, my name is Jacob ben Israel, or Amina Yah bin Israel. You know, like those people, they wrote for themselves surnames. And the Most High gave me mine. I told you guys already in other videos. Anyways, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts." Excuse me, guys. This is where we at. I'm sorry if you guys can't see it all the way, but I'm trying to read straight from the book. "I am the first and I am the last, and beside me there is no other God." He's like setting the foundation. First he told you, I'm going to take care of you. Stop fearing, stop worrying. Don't fret your little hairs, okay? Like, I'm going to take care of you. But now he's laying the foundation, and he's setting the tone for what it is. He's saying, I'm the first and I'm the last, and beside me there is no God. Verse 7, it says, "And who, as I shall call, and shall declare it, and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people, and the things that are coming and shall come, let them shew unto them. Fear ye not." That's the second time the Most High says, stop fearing. Like, there's somebody, the fact that he said it twice lets me know that there's somebody out there that's just so worried, so concerned about what's going to happen. Like, God, am I going to be okay? Are you going to take care of me? Like, what's going to happen? Like, anxiety, like you're fearing, lack, and that's not your portion, child of God. Children of the Most High, that is not our portion. Okay? "Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have I told thee from that time, and have declared it? Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God besides me?" That's the second time he said something about that. First he said, there is no God. He says, and besides me, there is no God. And then the second time he says, I lost it. It says, yep, there it goes. It says, "Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yeah, there is no God. I know not any. I know not any." Okay, so that's the second time he's saying that, which lets me know what he's really trying to register in our minds. He said, "Fear not" twice. So the fact that he repeated it lets me know he wants you guys to understand that you don't need to fear or worry. And then the fact that he said it twice in one chapter, "There is no other God besides me." He wants you to really register in your mind, there is no other God. Now let's really try to, figure out what other gods could there be. It could be the God of money. It could be the God, your supervisor at the workplace being your God. It could be your materialistic things that you love so much, that can be your God. It could be, if you struggle with eating, you know what I'm saying, and you feel like you just need to always feed your belly, that could be your God. And that's something I always struggle with. So I'm not judging anybody. You know what I'm saying? It could also be, drugs. Weed could be your God. Alcohol could be your God. There's so many things that could be your God, and he wants you to know that there is no other God besides me. No, so if there's something that you're like putting above the Most High, try to bring it low. And it's a fight. It's a dog fight to do that. Trust me. It's a daily battle. That's the reason why I always focus on myself, because I got my own demons I got to fight. But I digress. Anyways, it says, verse 9, "They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit." Their desirable things shall not profit, and they are their own witnesses. They see not nor know, that they may be ashamed. Okay? Verse 10, it says, "Who hath formed a god, or molten a graven image that is profitable for nothing? Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen they are of men. Let them all be gathered together. Let them stand up, yet they shall fear, and they shall all be ashamed together." So everyone who has, their own gods, they're like anybody who has a god who's putting people. Sometimes you can put people at, like celebrities. You guys worship them as gods sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other God before God, okay? Understand that. Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen thereof men. Let them all be gathered together. Let them stand up, yet they shall all fear, and they shall all be ashamed. Now, if you're not rooted in God, you will have fear. If you don't have that trust in God, you will have fear, worry, anxiety, which could lead to depression. Anyways, verse 12. The smith with the tongues both worketh in the coals, and fashioneth it with hammers, and worketh it with strength of his arms. Yet he is hungry, and his strength faileth, and he drinketh no water, and is faint. Okay, so let's break that down. Some people think just because they go to work all the time, okay, that since they're working, all of they're feeding themselves, they don't have to acknowledge God. Okay? It says the smith with the tongue both worketh in the coals, and fashioneth with hammers, and worketh it with the strength of his arms. He's working in his own strength. Yeah, he is still hungry, and his strength faileth, because he's in his own strength, right? He drinketh no water, and is faint. All of, if like it says in the beginning of this passage, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. Okay, when you rely on God for all of your needs, God is going to provide that. But there are people that work like the smith with the tongues that work at the coals. Even though even though he has a job, he can still be thirsty. He can still be hungry, though he has that job. You know what I'm saying? But when you rely on God, it says, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty. So it's like some people kind of think like, okay, so I got this job, I will always surely be, taken care of. But even people that work for a living, that have that job, you know what I'm saying, that don't rely on God, they can still go without. They can still be thirsty. The carpenter stretcheth out his rule. He marketh it out with the line. He fitteth it with planes, and he marketh it without the compass, and maketh it after the figure of man, according to the beauty of man, that it may remain in the house. He heweth him down cedars, and taketh the cypress and the oak, which he strengtheneth for himself. Right? And it says, among the trees of the forest he planteth an ash, and the rain doth nourish it. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof, and warm himself, kindleth himself. We're going to stop right here. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take it thereof, and warm himself. We about to dive deep here. And he kindleth himself, and baketh bread, yet he maketh a god, and worshipeth it. It says, and maketh it to be a graven image, and falleth down thereto, right? So this man's doing all this stuff for himself. He's doing all this stuff for himself. And he's like, yes, I worked so hard for this. I got my bread, I got my fire, I'm good. Like I got everything I need. Verse 16, he burneth part thereof in the fire. With part thereof he eateth flesh, he roasteth it, and is satisfied. Yea, he warmeth himself, and saith, aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. So he's like feeling good, because he got his meat, you know what I'm saying? He got his fire, he's warm, he got his bread, he's full, and he's just feeling so good, right? Verse 17, and the residue thereof he maketh a god, even his graven image. He falleth down unto it, and worshipeth it, and prayeth unto it, and say, deliver me, for thou art my God. So he's relying on his job, the things that he's doing for himself, and calling that his God. He's relying on things that he has and things that he's worked for on his own, and calling that his God. Wow, this is a deep study tonight. They have not known nor understood, for he that shut their eyes that they cannot see, and their hearts that they cannot understand, and none considereth in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, I have burned part of it in the fire. Yeah, I have baked the bread upon the coals thereof. I have roasted flesh and eateth it, and I shall make the residue thereof an abomination. Shall I fall down to the stock of a tree. He feedeth on ashes and deceived his heart. He feedeth on ashes. A deceived heart has turned him aside. He's deceiving himself, believing that all these things that he's doing for himself is his God. Wow, this is so deep. It says, a deceived heart has turned him aside, that he cannot free his soul, nor say, is there not a lie in my right hand? Remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee, thou art my servant. O Israel, thou shalt not be forgotten of me. Okay? Let me show you guys. We're going to read that one more time. It says, remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. Even if you got that job, whatever you're getting from whatever you got or wherever you're working or whatever business you're working on, it says, remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee. Thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shalt not be forgotten of me. Do you hear me? Thou shalt not be forgotten of me. So, there are people who go to work or who got this money or they get their business and, they start to, reap the fruits of their labor. You know what I'm saying? And they start to, they get them some food. They eat the best food. You know what I'm saying? Like this man right here, the carpenter, he had his bread. He had his meat roasting. He was warm. He's like, I'm good, But even though you're being blessed and you're reaping or you're, enjoying the fruits of your labor, don't forget God. He says, remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. You are still here to do a job. You're still here to serve. Okay? I have formed thee and thou art my servant. You are still a servant of God. You still must report to the Father and see what he needs of you, though you are reaping from the fruits of your labor. Yes, he's blessing you. Yes, he says, don't worry over here. Yes, I got you. Then up here, he says, I need you to understand that I'm the only God. And then he gives you an example of a smith with tongues and a carpenter who have worked hard and they're reaping from the fruits of their labor, but seem to have forgotten the Lord. And they made the things that they received, which is their bread, their meat. You know what I'm saying? They the warmth of the fire. They made that their God. And it says and God says, remember these, O Jacob and O Israel, for thou art my servant, and I have formed thee. Thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shalt not be forgotten of me. Though you are about to get blessed with your fire, that's going to keep you warm, and your meat and your bread from the harvest of the things that the Most High said, fear not, I will bless you with, and I'm going to make your dry lands flourish. Don't forget God. You going to get it. He going to give it to you. Relax your little mind. It might not come today. It might not come tomorrow, but it's coming. Okay, my love. But one thing about it, don't forget God when you get it. And don't be those that say never. This message is for me too. I'm with you guys as I'm reading this. Don't be like, oh, I'll never do that. No, never ever say you'll never do something. Never ever say you'll never do something. Okay? Anyways, my loves, that's the message for today that the Most High gave to me to give to you guys. I love you guys so much. Talk to you soon. Y'all will in peace.